impressive. And I remember the journey itself was, you had to dedicate yourself, you had to give yourself that extra time without without having to. It's CCNA is a bit different from other certifications where you can cram pass forget, because yeah, you're getting to learn a skill. So you've got the practical side. So once you've learned it, like I said, right now I'm in the data center, but trust me, I've got a lot of things that I still remember, which is still applying now. VLANs, you talk of VLANs, you talk of a lot of protocols that we still have overhead from, like, 6 to 8 years ago. And that's why I'm saying it's very important. So yeah, you need to give up the time. You need to make sure that you practice as much as you can, and get help as much as you can. And also the other thing is, also as you're learning, you also network. Like I said, that's a good thing. Besides cramming, going to get dams and everything, I also got to meet people like Mr. If. I remember meeting him, and those days I think, financially, things were a bit tough, but Fantech allowed me to go to them and suggest a particular format for payment for me, which helped me as well. And look at us, almost 10 years later now, we're still in contact. We still, talk about opportunities, here and there. So definitely the circle keeps on, growing big and bigger. And so it's just not about, being able to pick up the certification, but you're also able to get mentorship. You're also able to get connections, which is what you need in this environment that we're now in, whether it's global, whether it's local. I think once you're able to, to just get out of that, configuring mode, but you also can be able to be mentored into, some of the things that, were difficult probably 5, 10 years ago are now much easier, because you've got people like Mr. F who sit there and guide you than you going to having to go through the harder route that they probably went through. So, if you do get the chance, use it wisely and learn a lot from people like Mr. F. So, F, thank you. I don't know if I left anything.
Oh, fantastic, Adrian. Yeah, your guys, ICT day was very interesting because after we finished speaking there, the first person who came to our table there was your lecturer. I remember there's this lady who taught, the one of the ICT degrees. And she's like, I want my son to get on your program. So it was quite interesting there. Right, question.
Mm.
From the guys, I think after that presentation, we did get quite a number of guys from Chino University coming over to us for training. How many actually got kicked on with their networking journeys? I know there's Koto who's actually working in networking in South Africa. Are there a lot of guys who then kicked on with their networking careers?
Yeah, quite a lot of guys actually made it through with their networking careers, and I actually know one person who actually ended up moving into the telecoms. I think, yeah, fully throttle now. They're into telecoms now, and yeah, that's their thing. So I would say there's quite a lot of guys who actually ended up actually furthering, these careers. And like I said, other guys diverted into other areas of IT, but the foundation still remains. You need, like I said, I'm in the data center, but I need, for me to be able to, like I said, we've got physical servers, virtual servers. So probably on a hardware level, on a physical server, you've got your IBM. On top of it, you've got VMware, which is your virtualization. So networking, probably now you've got your Nexus, should be what Nexus be, Nexus 7000 something. These are some of the switches that we have. So now when these guys configure them from that end, if you don't have an idea of networking, they will tell you they've done it. So you crack your head troubleshooting what's on VMware, what's on IBM, yet probably it's you guys have not defined the VLAN. Maybe the port has not been configured to a trunk and the VLAN is not allowed. So that's a foundation of networking. So definitely, even if you've moved away like me, you still need that foundation. And yeah, a lot of the guys are thriving on that knowledge and skills that we learned.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adrian. So I think that just goes to show how very important Cisco networking is. We've got two guys who sort of like branched off a little bit because Mika is dealing with a lot of Aruba networks. But what I can safely tell you guys is that once you've got your Cisco certification, you can literally just work on any other devices without a problem, because what then happens is that most of the switches there, you discover that most of the switches and routers, other vendors, what they pretty much do is they just copy the Cisco iOS operating system. So where Cisco also will say maybe show this, show IP route, where we say display this. So one of the guys that we trained on this mass was telling me that when he went to Yahweh South Africa, when he produced this Cisco certification, they're like, wow, engineer, they respect the Cisco certification so much. So this is an international skill, guys, that is highly respected internationally. Steve Jobs said you can't join the dots going forward because God did not give us that foresight, but you can join the dots going backwards, just like what Adrian just shared with us, that that understanding the networking fundamentals helps him so much in his work to appreciate what's going on and to be able to troubleshoot. So, and guess what, this course only takes 3 months 3 months to train, 3 months, and it probably costs like the cost of 1 university semester. So if you just dedicate the time towards, I've trained thousands of people, but the people that I've seen that have really kicked on are those people who could dedicate the time, who were determined. I think you already heard somebody saying determination separates people. Just dedicate the time to learn the skill. It's not something that you cram, you just configure it. I was just doing some configurations on an ASA firewall this morning. I know that if I do it 3, 4, 5 times, I can do it without even thinking. It's like learning how to ride a bicycle, learning how to ride a bicycle. You do it several times before you create that brain muscle, coordination, so you just do it without thinking twice. Fantastic. Bruce, please get ready to come on board. Bruce was also at Chando University. Fantastic young man. He came to us when he was very young. He just finished his O-levels, and then he just came. He saw an advert in the newspaper, and he came over and he asked to do the course. So he just did it 1 or 2 modules while he was waiting for his O-level results to come out. Went back to A-level, looked for us after he started his degree at Chando University, and then we did a few things together: CCNA security, CCNP as well. Bruce was so good that we actually took him on board as one of our part-time trainers. Alright, so Bruce again is working for the biggest company in Zimbabwe. Is now diverted now into cybersecurity, so that will be interesting. Bruce is now a cyber analyst. It will be interesting to hear his point of view there. So welcome, Bruce, and it's all yours. Tell us, how did you get started in Cisco, and how has it helped you in your career?
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. My name is
turn on your video, Bruce. Thank you.
Okay, confirm you can hear me
loud and clear.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. My name is Bruce Chando. Those who want to see my profile,
turn on your video, please. Please turn on your video so we can actually see you on the screen there. You can blur your background if you want to, but I want to see your face. There is our engineer there.
Okay. Thank you. Great. Confirm you can now see me. I don't know.
We can see you. We can hear you loud and clear, Engineer Bruce.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. F. Once again, good evening to you all. My name is Bruce Chando. I started doing IT. In fact, I have a passion in computers. So my journey is like this. I started doing IT when I was in grade 5. Yeah. So at that point in time, we were just doing a basic Microsoft package, which included Excel and so forth. So it was just a small ICDL course that we're doing at the primary level. So then my journey with Mr. F started when I finished my ordinary levels. So Here's what happened. Like what Mr. Everett said before. Um, I was searching for something to do while I just finished my ordinary levels. So I remember that was back in 2012 because I wrote my ordinary levels in 2012. So I came, me and my friend, we came through an advert which was advertising these CISCO CCENT. Back then it was CCENT, which is called the CISCO Certified Networking Technician, as well as the CCNA, which is the CISCO Certified Networking Associate. So interesting. So as my parents, I said, you know what, I need to jump in to do these courses. Probably I can get something to do while at least I'm holidaying. So as for the money for my dad, and he provided that, then I enrolled with Mr. F's Academy back then in 2012. So, you know, just after finishing ordinary levels, I already hooked up into these professional courses. So my career, it traces back to, I think it's now close to a decade plus. Yes. I've known Mr. F for a long period right now. And I believe he has assisted me through the career journey. You know, I was so young. I didn't even know what is Cisco, what is Aruba, like what other engineers who have joined us have said before. So then I did the CCENT because it was divided. I did the CCENT course through the assistance that time. Then I managed to pass. I passed the cracking score. I think it was around 960 out of 1,000. And everyone was so excited. I know, I've got a young guy here who has just joined us, and he looked at this score. I remember very well. I think that score was broadcasted on the page to say, look, we've got this guy who has done this CCNA, CISCO certification at that time. So my journey, then from then I realized I need to go to A level. Then I went to A level. Then I finished my A levels. Then from there I saw that I need to also do advance into computers, because I've been in computer testing from I mean, like, I just have that love with computers. So then that's where I went to Chino University to pursue the college route. So that's where I joined the 4-year course that they offer at Chino, the bachelor's in IT. But while I was still doing the bachelor's in IT, we kept in touch with Mr. F. We said, can you just visit us today and see what we are doing right now? So these are some of the things that you don't find in some colleges. You know, Fantech is a family. I cannot say Fantech is a college. You know, there's a difference between a family and a college, because most colleges, well, at least when you train, you attain your degree, you attain your diploma, that is it, and you won't keep in touch. But with Mr. F, I used to keep in touch. You know, Bruce, what are you doing at the moment? No, I'm just I have nothing that I'm doing right now. Come and do this course, visit us, I can tell you. So it was just a roadmap that was coming back then. I received a lot of career guidance from in the IT field, what to choose, what to focus on, you know. So I had an interest in, okay, I had, while I was still at college, that's when I said, no, I need to go into the CCNA, right? So that's when I started the CCNA course. But back then, you know, things were not that easy. My parents couldn't afford to pay the whole, or at least they are paying for my degree. I also wanted to pursue into CCNA. So I remember me and my friend, with the two guys who started receiving the Fantech, Mr. Kumre's scholarship to do these courses. So he saw that this young man is so determined, and I was so focused, I was so determined. I would put my every effort to do these courses. and knowing that one day it will pay back, because I remember then I still have the, it was, I think I had just finished my order levels, and Mr. Kumire was so excited, say, I know such a number of order level classes, come, I can offer you a scholarship, then you can proceed with your courses. So it was I think it was in the Herald or Sunday Mail. I don't still remember, but I still have the newspaper. I put it in my archives. So I received that scholarship to proceed, and it was for CCNA. Then soon after finishing CCNA, like I said, I was doing on part-time basis, to say, like, you have your sim break at university where you go on holiday to stay. Then I would come to Harare, then I would do these courses. So I remember I did the CCNA, then I also, so I was multitasking. I was doing both two at the same time. So yeah, I have to explain that, because Mr. Kumire said I have to explain how I do my studies, so that people can be motivated. Yeah. It's a game of hours. I usually don't sleep. So yeah, I read a lot. So then I did the CCNA security. Now this one was a clerk now. So I did the CCNA security, the cyber ops, which was called the CCNA security, because I had that feeling to say, no, we were told, Mr. Kumire, we've got layer number 1 up to layer number 7, referencing the OS model. Now there's what you call encapsulation, de-encapsulation, we've got what you call encryption. So I was so excited. No, I need to go and do a further course in securing things. So I was so excited into security. How do you secure things, authentication, how do you add in your CISCO router, AAA authentication, how do you configure your passwords from plain text, and how do you secure all those. This was back in 2016, so from there, this one was very an easy exam to pass. I remember, because I used to spend most of my hours in the libraries, trying to do the CCNA security, because back then it was a plus for you to get that course. So I benefited a lot in these CISCO certifications. So amongst that, it opened a greater opportunity, because when I had finished second year, you go on internship here in Zimbabwe. We call it attachment. So when I was looking for a place for attachment, back then, I got an attachment at Zimbabwe Post Office Company. So Zimpos is a leading company in terms of they've got the distribution network. There's no company that has the distribution network like Zimpos, because every town that you go, there's a post office there. So from the network point of view, that's where I had the opportunity now to apply what I learned from CCNT as well as the CCNA and CCNA security. I remember that time we used to have the CCNA gurus coming from South Africa. While I was still in intern, they could call me into those board meetings, and say, come, we've got a junior guy who knows how to do these things to secure our environment. I was still an attaché, and they were seniors, It internship, but they used to call me and say, we know this, because they had a ASA firewall. They had an ASA firewall at that point in time, so we had done the ASA. So it was like right now, Cisco Firepower. It was something that is trending at that point, 2016 back then. So the networking engineers, they had some knowledge of that firewall, but they didn't have that training, So that's where we could link together, then we assisted each other. So I remember at that time I had an opportunity to go visit every branch. They said, you know what, young man, don't tell people you're on internship. Just tell them you're an engineer. So, interns, they are not allowed to drive company cars. So we could they could bring in a driver, and me and the driver could go to the sites, and people I cannot transact, everything's not happening. Then you are the engineer there, but you are in chain. How look how Cisco certifications assisted me. So soon after finishing, just to forward, I think mine is a long story. Soon after finishing the degree, so whilst I was also looking for job now, I had finished the degree, the 4-year degree. I used to keep in touch, Mr. F. There's an opportunity, come and do this. I had some part time. I remember sometime I just said, let's say $2 in my wallet. I would say, I think I can just take the other dollar and put in bus fare and go at Mr. F and spend the whole day being told what is trending in terms of IT, and then I come back home. So thumbs up, Mr. Kumire. I think that spirit, God bless you. And so after finishing my in my tertiary education, which is university, I had now CCNA security. So I wanted to do, in fact, I wanted to do attachment in South Africa. So at some point in time, I went to South Africa. Then I started working for a company called Speed, which was a subcontractor for Telkom. So the guys in South Africa are like what Mr. Kumere was saying. They were so excited. Oh, you young men, you have got the CCNA security. Some of us don't even have the CCNA back then. So I later then came to Zim. Then when I came to Zim, then I started working for another premium partner for Cisco. So at that point in time, we just distributing Cisco products with our clients, and I was fortunate enough. I went for further training in South Africa for the CCNA collaboration, which they now call the Unified Communications. Then I trained Unified Communication with VoIP and VoIP video, which encompasses all those things, those technologies. So I had a lot. I had a lot of books that I had read, and but in my mind I wanted things to do with cyber security. So when I was looking for a job I started working for Econet Wireless, which is one of the leading telecommunication company in Zimbabwe right now, with the subscriber base of 15 million. So whilst I was looking for that job, I remember we went for the interviews at this celebration center church, and everyone who was part of that interview were a lot of graduates, because everyone wants to work for Econet Wireless because it's the leading telecoms here in Zimbabwe. So I remember we were given a question paper to say, okay, first screening, you have to answer this. And that paper, it was set, they were looking for a person a graduate trainee to do the security. It was set in such a way, if you don't know 3 days, what is the advanced encryption algorithm, how does this work, all those are security concepts, right? So having the knowledge from the certifications and the practical things of how things work, I cracked that interview. So they wanted one person from 7. So started as 7, then 3, then 1. So I had 2 interviews from the rest. Then I managed to get the job that I'm working right now. So right now I'm working as a cyber security analyst, or quality information security analyst. I make sure that the company information is secured. So connecting the dots, like what Mr. Ivor had been saying, from the OSI model, from layer 1 up to 7, right? You now need from the network, because everything travels on the network. There's data in transit, data at rest, data in motion, right? that data, it sits somewhere else. That data needs to travel. So you need to know your port numbers. You need to know how to secure them. HTTP is not secure. What port do you use? HTTPS. So that knowledge that I had gained, it was now being reflected back now. You see, from the job description of what the HR wanted and what I had on my CVs at that point in time. So like what they say, opportunity meets preparedness. So I was so prepared for the opportunity given the amount of work that I had invested in the career guidance that I had gone through from Mr. F's Academy, the career mappings, what's trending, what's latest. Or I used to receive all these, and also the network. I also say thumbs up, Mr. Kumire. I received a lot of networking, right? I received a lot of guys that the like what Adrian had said before. I also work with Adrian here at Econet. Your network is your network. Who do you spend your day with? Who do you interact with? Those people are the ones that are going to increase your network, right? So with the Fantech family, they used to do seminars, So from these seminars, we could meet with the bosses, like Adrian's boss. I remember we did another session, Mr. Itai Biza. He came to Econet. Then, all those people, engineer, Mikai, they used to come with Fantech and did all these seminars, these training, these refresher courses. So, the IT field is so small. So you need to get recognized outside there. People, they need to know your face. You say, I know Bruce, you know Bruce. I know Bruce, you know Bruce. I've known Bruce from Fantech, I've known Bruce from this organization. So that's something that's of intrinsic value that Mr. Kumire had a platform to provide, because Mr. Kumire is well known with these engineers, these specialists in cybersecurity. So I also had that opportunity to get the network and also the practicals. I remember I would just go and do the practicals because at that point in time, to get a Cisco router or a Cisco switch, I would just, what is there walking town, or maybe I was doing a window shopping or whatever, I would just pass through Fantech and say, no, I needed to connect these devices and know how these things like. No. So these are some of the things that I benefited from training with Mr. F's Academy. So yeah, just to fast forward, I think I have to give engineer Ivor some time to also present. So that's my journey in terms of IT. So I moved from Cisco networking, then I decided to go the cybersecurity route, because right now data is something that is trending, data privacy, you need to know those HIPAA, GDPR policies. So all these, the CCNA assisted me, the CCNA cyber ops, or they used to call it CCNA security. It all assisted me in terms of the job that I'm doing right now. So at some point in time, while I'm waiting, I also refer back to my notes. This subnetting, I used to do subnetting with Mr. Kumine. We used to do VLANs, the concept of VLANs, So, thank you very much, Mr. Kumire, for that career guidance, the opportunity. I hope all the other guys who are part of this call, they are going to tell their friends and, to receive also that guidance. So I'd like to thank you very much. Whilst I leave this opportunity to my brother, Ivor, thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Bruce, for the kind words. Bruce is a very hardworking young man, and I remember at one time there was a very major change to the CCNA syllabus. What year was that, Bruce? Was that 2020? I'm forgetting the year now. So I entrusted Bruce to spearhead the team of trainers that were also like looking into that new syllabus and unpacking it, and we did a whole seminar about that. So when it comes to Cisco, guys, we eat, we live, we breathe Cisco networking, and if we have to say it ourselves, we're not like the market leader when it comes to training these things, not just in the country but in the region as well. And this time we're going global, guys. We're very, very serious. So I hope the three engineers, Engineer Mikhail Kaseke, Engineer Adrian, and Engineer Bruce have inspired you guys. I hope they inspired you guys as you start your Cisco journey. And you can see, guys, you can see how the stuff that they learned so many years ago helped them to make inroads into the industry, and how it has helped them to kick on. Imagine, so many people interviewed by Econet, but Bruce rose head and shoulders, because he had the skill set, he had the knowledge. People go and say, there are no jobs, this and that, jobs are difficult to find. Take a good look at yourself. Look at the jobs that are available in the market. Look at their requirements, look at the skill set. Then start the journey step by step to upgrade your skill set, so that you can suit. It's all about suitability. You can suit the jobs that are on the market. Don't go for the easy stuff, because the easy stuff is getting redundant, guys. It's getting redundant. Web designers right now, they can't find work because they are AI powered tools. The flyer that we used for this particular presentation, I made it myself in a few minutes, using an AI powered tool. So look at yourself, take the time, budget your time, prepare hard. We are there as mentors, as your trainers and mentors. We are there to assist you, and we've been doing this since 2011. We know how to get people certified. That's one thing we know we're very good at. And when you come to us, like Bruce said, it's like a family. We're there. Not only the journey does not end when you finish our training. The journey is only starting, my friend. We're there to support you, to guide you, to mentor you, to show you the direction, to show you what's trending, to show you what's hot. There's a guy right now who I trained back in 2010. I helped him get a job in Australia. He's relocating right now from South Africa to Australia. That's who we are. That's how we roll. Alright, fantastic. So, Engineer Ivor, it's all yours. Let's go. CCNA training has started, guys. Evening class, CCNA training has started. And by the way, even if you miss a Saturday lesson, just keep in touch. Check the mentorship groups. When that lesson is taught by Ivor in the evening, you can still jump into the evening lesson. No problem at all. As long as you're enrolled, you can still jump in and enjoy. So Ivor, it's all yours. And guys, it's going to be a cracker. Fasten your seatbelts. And the stuff that you're going to learn here is going to make a difference in your life. It's going to make a difference in your life. So make sure you make it count. Thank you so much. Ivor, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. F. Good evening once again, everyone. My name is Ivor Masawi. I'm a telecommunications and network engineer with a vast experience in telecommunications technologies such as LTE, 3G, microwaves. Then with vast experience again in networking technologies, being CISCO Certified, CCNA, CCNP, with also an experience of training. I've trained a lot of people starting from 2017 at Fantech Systems. I trained there for about 4 to 5 years, teaching CCNA, CCNP. So guys, then I left Fantech. Now I'm a full-time network engineer in the production networks Currently, I'm an IT administrator at the Bedbridge border post. So CCNA is very important, guys. Has already been alluded to by our guest speakers. I've met a lot of guys who don't have networking background. So when you get to do some tasks on the site, you get you get surprised to see some of the guys they don't know some basic things like putting an IP address, subnet mask, how to ping intended destination. So these are some of the basic things you need to understand, you need to appreciate. So we're going to master all these things. CCNA is the foundation of all the networks. So CCNA is very simple, but it's time consuming. There's a lot of material that you are going to learn. So you have to be prepared to grind. As we used to say when I was a trainer at Fantech, we used to say practice leads to mastery. Practice leads to mastery, and determination separates people. So if you're prepared to grind, guys, CCNA is going to be very easy for you. This is a practical based course, so it's different from all those theoretical courses. So what we're going to do here, this is going to be an introduction to CCNA, what we are going to learn. Then before we call it a day, I will just do a short demonstration of how you can configure your devices using a simulator called Packet Tracer. So I will share my screen. Right. Let me share my slides there.
Right, we can see the slides now. Ivor, you can rock and roll. Practice list to
right. Thank you for acknowledging. So this is the syllabus for CCNA. I hope you guys can see this this syllabus. Please confirm you can see my the CCNA syllabus.
Yes, we can see it.
Right, thank you. So basically, this is what you are going to learn in this CCNA course. First, we are going to look at network fundamentals, and this constitutes 20% of your course. We are going to talk about routers, what a router is, the function, the role it plays in our networks, layer 2 and layer 3 switches, next generation firewalls and IPS, access points, controllers. It's going to be interesting where we're going to look at how networks can be managed using controllers, endpoints, servers. Then we can also look at the characteristics of network topology, architectures, where we are going to discuss the 2-tier architecture, the 3-tier architecture, the spine and leaf, the small office, home office, which is SOHO, then on-premises and cloud. So these are the different types of our networks. I think we all know that our networks, they come in different sizes. We've got the LANs, local area networks, we've got the metropolitan area networks, and we've got the one wide area networks. So then on premises and cloud. Then there is a comparison of physical interface and cabling types, where we'll cover the single mode fiber, multi-mode fiber, copper, different connections like Ethernet, shared media, and point-to-point. Then concepts of PoE, identify interface and cable issues, collision errors, mismatch, duplex, and or speed. Then we are going to have a look at the OSI model and the TCP IP suite. We are going to compare the TCP to UDP. After having done that, we'll look at configuration and verification of IPv4 addressing and subnetting. Describe the need for private IPv4 addressing. Then we are going to configure again and verify IPv6 addressing and prefix. So this is types of IPv6 addresses at 1.9, where we have global unicast, unique local, linked local addresses, anycast, multicast, modified EUI 64. Then on 1.10, we're going to look at verification of IP parameters for client OS, Windows, Mac OS, Linux. Right now on my machine, I'm using Windows 11. So when you say verify IP parameters, you're just running a command which shows the IP address on your device, the MAC address. So for example, if I open my CMD like this, if I say this is verifying the IP parameters on a Windows machine, they just say IP config like this, IP config. Then you can see we have these adapters on my laptop. We've got Ethernet adapter 3 with this IP address 192.168.193.236. This is my subnet mask. This is my default gateway. So all these terms are going to be demystified, are going to be explained in greater detail as we move with our CCNA course. Then if you want to look for more information in terms of the parameters on your device, you can run this command ipconfig /4 like this, then enter. So this shows a lot of adapters on your machine. You've got Ethernet adapter for Bluetooth, wireless LAN adapter, Ethernet adapter for VMware. I've got VMware running on my machine as well. So all these adapters are being shown here, and we can also see the MAC address associated with each of these adapters. For example, my Ethernet adapter 2 here, this is the physical address, the MAC address. So we're going to discuss again what the MAC address is. How can you interpret a MAC address, right? That's verification of IP parameters on a Windows machine, right? Then we can also going to look at wireless principles, non-overlapping Wi-Fi channels, SSID, radio frequency, encryption. So we're also going to maybe configure a small wireless network in the sessions to follow, describing all these channels, how wireless devices communicate, access points, what an SSID is. For example, if you look at my network symbol here, if you click on networks, as you can see, there's this wireless network in my room here. We've got this Huawei P40 Pro. So this is an SSID, system service identifier. It's just a network name for a wireless network name, right? So we are going to practice all these things in the sessions to follow. Then we are going to explain virtualization fundamentals. We are going to explain virtual machines in details. Then describe switching concepts. I've shown you a MAC address, so we're going to look at how MAC addresses are important in our networks, how switches use MAC addresses, frame switching, frame flooding, how MAC addresses are used to build what we call a MAC address table, which is used by switches when they make forwarding decisions, right? Then the second part, we're going to look at network access, which also constitutes 20% of our syllabus. This section now has got more configuration. We're going to look at VLANs. VLANs are very important in networks, guys. There is no a large network without VLANs. VLANs are very important in our network, so there is no way you can miss this. So we're going to look at how to configure and verify VLANs. We're going to talk about access ports, default VLAN, connectivity. So one of my tasks here as an IT administrator currently, I almost work with VLANs every day of my life. VLANs. So VLANs are very important, guys. Then we can also configure and verify interswitch connectivity. We are going to discuss about trunk ports, 802.1q, native VLAN. Then 2.3, configure and verify layer 2 discovery protocols, CDP, CISCO Discovery Protocol, and LLDP, which is Link Layer Discovery Protocol. So we will be comparing and contrasting these protocols. Then configure and verify layer 2, layer 3 Ether channel using this protocol, Link Aggregation Control Protocol, LACP. Then we are going to describe the need for and the basic operations of rapid VLAN spanning tree protocol and identify basic operations. Spanning tree is an interesting topic, guys. I can confess that if your network has got spanning tree issues, it's going to be a mess. Spanning tree can bring a network on its knees because you can see some loops if spanning tree is not well in your network. You can experience loops, and loops are very dangerous to your network. Everything can stop working at any moment when spanning tree is not configured properly. So we're going to look at how to configure a spanning tree protocol, looking at root ports, root bridges, primary, secondary, and other port names. Then port states, forwarding, blocking, port fast benefits. Then compare Cisco wireless architectures and access point modes. 2.7, we're going to look at describe physical infrastructure connections of wireless LAN components, access point, wireless LAN controllers, access, transports, and link aggregation group. Describe AP and wireless LAN controller management access connections. We're going to look at protocols like Telnet, SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, console, and TACAX and Radius. So in the sessions to follow, we'll configure these protocols and explain how they work, how they are used in our networks. Then we're also going to configure the components of a wireless LAN access for client connectivity using the graphical user interface GUI only, such as wireless LAN creation, security settings, QoS profiles, quality of service profiles, and advanced wireless LAN settings. Then we've got 25% of your course being IP connectivity. IP connectivity. Again, this section has got a lot of configuration. We're going to interpret the components of a routing table. Now we are deep diving into how routers work, how routers make forwarding decisions, how protocols are used by routers. So we're going to look at the routing protocol code, the prefix, the network mask, next hop, administrative distance, metric, gateway of last resort. So we are going to talk a lot of protocols here, the OSPF, the EIGRP, probably BGP, and static routes, how to configure static routes. Right, then you are also going to determine how a router makes a forwarding decision. By default, longest match, administrative distance, routing protocol metric. Right, then you are also going to look at configuration and verification of IPv4 and IPv6 static routing. The default route, network route, host route, floating static. Right, then there is configuration and verification of single area OSPF, which is a powerful routing protocol that is used in enterprise networks, in big organizations. We're going to look at how OSPF is configured, what we mean by neighbor adjacencies, point to point, broadcast, designated routers, backup designated routers selection, and router ID. Then we are going to describe the purpose of first hop redundancy protocol, which is first hop redundancy protocol, which is an interesting topic there. Then we've got 10% of the course, which is IP services. So we are going to configure and verify technologies like NAT, network address translation, using static and pools. Then we're also going to configure and verify NTP, operating in a client and server mode, the role of DHCP and DNS, explain the function of SNMP in network operations. So DNS is very interesting. It's a very powerful mechanism used in networks. So DNS basically it just resolves host names to IP addresses, right? For example, when you type google.com on a web browser, the DNS understands IP addresses. Unlike us human beings, we just use terms like Google, Facebook, not remembering the IP addresses. So the DNS is there to resolve those host names to IP addresses. For example, if you type like this, if you want to check if your DNS is resolving in your network, you can just type this command, ns, shortcut for name server, ns lookup, for example, you can say google.com, then select enter. So this is my IP address, right? And lookup to DNS is failing. Lookup to google.com is failing, is not resolving. I just got this IPv6 address. Let me try again. Fantastic. NS lookup to google.com is resolved now. As you can see, this is my IP address, right? Google.com, the domain name google.com has been resolved to this address. So this command basically checks if your DNS is resolving in your network. So this is the IP address of the Google, the Google server. Sorry. Right. Allow me to proceed. We're also going to look at SNMP, syslog features. We're also going to look at configure and verify DHCP. We're also going to look at explain the forwarding, the hop behavior of quality of service, such as classification, marking, queuing, congestion, policing, and shaping. We're going to configure network devices for remote access using SSH, describe the capabilities of function of TFTP and FTP in the network. Then we've got 15% of our course covering security fundamentals. We're going to look at threats, vulnerabilities, exploits, and mitigation techniques. These are security concepts, right? Then we're going to look at security program elements such as user awareness, training, and physical access control. Device access control using local passwords, device security password policies elements such as management, complexity, and password alternatives, multi-factor authentication, certificates, and biometrics. We're also going to look at how remote access and site-to-site VPNs work. We're going to have a deep look into these technologies. Then also we're going to configure and verify access control lists, configure layer 2 security features, which are DHCP snooping, dynamic app inspection, and port security. We're also going to differentiate authentication, authorization, and accounting concepts, popularly known as AAA. Then we're also going to look at wireless security protocols, WPA, WPA2, and WPA3. We're also going to configure a wireless LAN using WPA2, PSK using graphical user interface. Right, then the last part of our course is automation and programmability. This is an interesting topic, guys, automation and programmability. Our networks are evolving. Traditionally, you'd use the command line interface to configure a bunch of routers, a bunch of switches. But technology is moving now. We are going now to automation, where we will meet things like writing scripts, our new devices now have got APIs. So we're going to have, for example, you create a script, you run a script communicating with network devices with an aim of automating these processes. So this is time. This saves time as compared to traditional methods. So if you are going to, or if you want to be a modern network engineer, this is an important section which we are going to look at. We are going to cover in greater detail. So we're going to explain how automation impacts network management, compare traditional networks with controller-based networking, describe controller-based and software-defined architectures, overlay, underlay, and fabric, separation of control plane and data plane, northbound and southbound APIs. We're going to compare traditional campus device management with Cisco DNA Center enabled device management. Describe characteristics of REST-based APIs, crypt HTTP verbs and data encoding. So as I said, modern devices these days have got APIs, which is an application programmable interface which you can interact with. So we've got these APIs communicating. So for example, if you run your script to say you want to fetch a data from a cloud services Cisco router, CSR router, or an integrated services router, ISR, or an aggregated services router, ASR, you can fetch data using these APIs, right? So when this data is being represented or is being fetched from the server back to the client, there is a certain format, which is a data modeling language or a data encoding format, which is being used. So we're going to look at how that data is presented. So we're going to look at JSON, right? When applications communicate, the format we get to see if you make an API request, that data can be represented in JSON format. It can be represented in XML, extensible markup language. So we're going to look at all those data modeling languages. Then we are going to recognize the capabilities of configuration management mechanisms such as Puppet, Chef, and Ansible. So this is your CCNA course, guys. It's only 3 pages, but there's a lot of content here. So as we said, practice leads to mastery. Be prepared to grind for you to master these concepts, but it's very easy, trust me. So without wasting time, I'll just show you my slides for chapter 1. Right, so chapter 1, we're going to explore network. This is introduction to networks. Introduction to networks. So these are the objectives of Mary. Mary, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Engineer Ivor. Strength 5.
Okay,
I can hear you, sir.
I just wanted Mary to read through the objectives of chapter 1.
Okay. After completing this chapter, students will be able to explain how multiple networks are used in everyday life, Explain the topologies and devices used in a small to medium-sized business network. Sharing my screen. Explain the basic characteristics of a network that supports communication in a small to medium-sized business. Explain trends in networking that will affect the use of networks in small to medium-sized businesses.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Here is a diagram showing networks in our past and daily lives, which is showing that in some time around 1995, we had fixed the computing where you would go to the device, right? And this number doubled every 13 years, right? Then around 2000, this is mobility, bring your own device. The device goes with you around 2000. So this is just an explanation of how networks evolve and how they affect our daily lives. So we are saying in the year 2011, we are now talking of the Internet of Things, age of devices, doubles every year. We are talking of around 10 billion devices connected, right? Then Internet of Things, Internet of everything, people, processes, data, things, about 50 billion things connected. So this is the era we are in now, guys and Adrian. So we are saying everything you can think of these days can be connected on network, right? You can monitor your head of cattle at your farm. You can have a smartwatch, you can have a laptop, your phone, all those devices connected on the internet, right? So we are saying networks are evolving. As I said before, we are going to look at the traditional way of doing things, a traditional network engineer and a modern network engineer, where we are moving from the command line interface to automating networks using scripts, using technologies like Puppet, the Ansible, the Chef, where we are going to interact with devices using APIs. The modern devices have got inbuilt APIs. So it's going to be an interesting journey. So networks are evolving. Then the next slide, you can see the global community. Precious, can you explain what is happening on that picture? Hello, Precious. Oh, Blessing. Oh, yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Precious. If you can just explain to us what is happening on that slide. Okay, so we're just saying, yes,
yes,
you can go ahead, Blessing.
It seems people are in meeting, and so that's some are physically there and some they seem to be doing it remotely. So it should be a video conferencing they're doing with the others that are on the other side. So it seems.
Fantastic, Blessing. Yes, so we're having people meeting some physical in the room, and some are virtually communicating. So we are saying this is the power of networks, the power of technology, how things are evolving every day, right? So networks support the way we learn, the way we communicate, the way we work, the way we play. So Chanaskwa, can you give us an example of how networks support the way we learn, the way we communicate, the way we work, and the way we play?
Good evening, everyone. Is my audio? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can hear you loud and clear, Chanaskwa. Please go ahead.
Okay. Networks support the way we learn, as nowadays we find out that in most schools around the world, people are able to learn virtually. School students can also do research on the internet, and it also helps us to get resources that are in a different geographical area. The networks support the way we communicate. Nowadays, people can have a Zoom call, Skype call, WhatsApp video call, so they can see what the other person is doing. So, and networks also supports the way we work. Nowadays, in some of the first world countries, people can now work remotely. They don't need to be there in person to be doing the job. And networks can also support the way we play, as nowadays you find the people of my generation, as the Gen Zs, they're able to play video games online. They're able to communicate with their friends as they're playing. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Chanaskwa. That is very correct. So basically, we are saying everything runs on data networks, guys. Everything is running on networks. Right. Next slide is talking about the networks of many sizes. The networks of many sizes. So when networks are designed, you can design with the size in mind. How are you going to how big is your network? So we've got a small home office, home office, a medium to large networks, and worldwide networks. But if you look in your syllabus, a small office, home office network is in your syllabus. A worldwide networks, the one is in your syllabus again. So small office, small home networks is just a very small office, a very small network. Sorry, probably just a one or two device, probably a wireless router connected to your laptop, and you are good to go. So this is a small home network compared to a small home office network. This is a very small network but bigger than the home network. This one now has got a quite number of machines or computers connected on the network. Probably we are talking of 4 or 5 computers, a printer, your internet link. You are good to go. Very small. Then we've got medium to large networks. Probably you are talking of a network joining 1 or 2 cities or 3 cities, campuses, maybe, for example, a network at a university. That's a medium to large network. Then we've got the worldwide networks. The worldwide networks, we are now talking of the internet, right? where an internet is just a connection of local area networks. So it's just LANs connected together. Inter-network, right? Internet shortcut for inter-network, right? So then this is just a description of how resources can be provided in a network. We are talking of clients and servers, where here we have got a switch, and on that switch we've got a web server connected, a file server, a file access client, a browser client, an email client, and an email server. So all these devices, as you can see, if there is a default configuration on this switch, all these devices are in one network, are in the same network, and they can communicate easily. But if there are some configurations like VLANs where this switch is going to be segmented, providing virtual networks, we can now say the browser client is in a different VLAN logically with the file server. So we're going to look at all those things, the VLANs, what we mean by devices are in the same network, how to configure ports on a switch. We're also going to look at that. So I think before we call it a day, we just have a packet tracer configuration to demonstrate how to configure a switch and a router. It's going to be very brief, right? And then here we've got a peer-to-peer. So we can have a client to server connection, then a peer-to-peer connection where we've got we have a printer to share. I have a printer to share, I have files to share. So we've got two PCs communicating here, directly connected, that's peer-to-peer, right? Then these are the advantages and the disadvantages of peer-to-peer networking, the disadvantages of peer-to-peer networking. Who can read these advantages and disadvantages for us? Right. If Waraizo is not able, can we have Ralph? Okay, it's okay. Maybe we can proceed. The next slide, you are looking at.
I'm not seeing the screen.
You're not seeing the screen. Okay, okay. It's right here. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Right, you can just read through the advantages and the disadvantages of this type of connection.
Sherry, don't go outside.
It's not clear on my side.
Okay. Let me try to zoom. Okay, it's okay, but it's okay. Maybe the font here is very small. Let's proceed. So the next slide is looking at LANs, WANs, and internets, components of a network.
Okay.
Right. So basically, what you are saying here is a network is made up of components. The components are devices. What devices do we have in our network? what is the media we have? What are the services running on our network? The examples of devices. Remember, this part is also in our syllabus in chapter 1, network fundamentals, right? So devices, can you have examples of devices? What are they? Blessing?
We have switches, we have routers, we have repeaters, there is bridges. So there's so many of these devices that we have in our networks.
Fantastic. So our network is made up of devices, the media, the services. So the devices, we can talk of VoIP phones, the desktops, servers, printers. All those are examples of devices. Then the media, now we are looking at the path through which our data is moving. For example, Ethernet cables. We can talk of fiber. We can talk about wireless, right? That's the transmission medium, right? So for example, in our diagram, we've got a switch here connected to this router. Probably it is connected with a straight-through cable, which is an Ethernet cable, right? So we are going to, in our sessions to follow, we are going to look at all those things. What is a straight-through cable? A crossover cable, right? So then the services, now the services part. Who can tell us what services are? Who can tell us what services are? Tanasco, do you want to try?
Yes, I can try. So
Please.
services, I think these are our web browsers like Google, YouTube.
Okay. So by services, we mean basically we are saying what are we getting from our networks? What is it that we are achieving with our networks? For example, video conferencing. We can talk of emails. We can talk of browsing, like you said. All those are the services we are getting from our network, right? These are the examples of end devices. We've got computers, network printers, VoIP phones, telepresence endpoints, security cameras, mobile handheld devices. Then we've got the network infrastructure devices. So we can have what are called intermediate devices. For example, a switch or a router, right? Because a router or a switch, let me say a switch. A switch is an intermediate device because it's connecting our end devices to the service. So the connection is passing through the switch from the end device, then it goes to the router for you to access the service which you want to get, right? So these are intermediate devices, the switches and the routers. So we're going to look at how switches make forwarding decisions, how routers make forwarding decisions, how a switch and a router communicate, in which layer is the switch, in which layer do we find a switch, in which layer do we find a router. So it's going to be an interesting journey, guys. look into our CCNA concepts. Then we've got example of the network media with copper. These are just UTP cables, copper, fiber optic, wireless. This is the medium which we talked about, right? Then network representations. This will help you when you are using your packet tracer. This is how the devices in packet tracer are displayed. So you have to know these symbols. I will show you in the lab we are about to configure shortly. Right. Let me open my packet tracer and show you how we can set up devices in a packet tracer lab. Right. This is my CISCO packet tracer. As you can see at the bottom left here, we've got network devices. We've got the end devices. We've got the components, the connections. We've got miscellaneous. Right, so these are the routers displayed here. The routers. We've got a 4331 router, 4321 router, 1941 router, you name it. Then if you click on the switches, click on switches. Switches are displayed here. We've got a 2960 switch, a PT switch, 3560 switch, 3650 switch. So these are some of the limitations of packet tracer. As you can see, the devices we have here, some of them are no longer supported by CISCO, but they are still working. So as we move with our course, I will introduce you to a better emulator which you can use. We are talking of the GNS3 or EVNG. So these are advanced emulators which you can use that can make you feel as if you are configuring a real device, GNS3 and EVNG. Right, so this is packet tracer for you guys. Here we've got the hubs, wireless devices, security, we're talking of firewalls. Right, so let's say you want to connect a desktop or a PC to a switch and then to a router. Right, if you click on end devices, we've got a PC, laptop, server. So this is a PC. You click on the PC, right? Then you move your cursor to the workspace and click on the workspace, right? A device has been dropped. Then you click on, you want to connect this PC to a switch, then the switch to a router. Then if you click on the network devices, select the switch here, bottom left, switches. I will select my 2960 switch like this, click on the switch, then move the cursor, tap it on the workspace, our 2960 switch. Then I will select the router. I'm going to use the 4331. Click on the router, click on the workspace. Then I will connect these devices using this symbol, the connection symbol. I'll use this copper straight through, connect the PC to the switch. The copper straight through, click on this, click on your PC, select your port. So this is Fast Ethernet 0 is just an interface, which is a port on your laptop or your desktop for connecting an RJ45 connector. So you click on the switch, then you select the port on which you want to connect your PC. So we've got this is a 24 port switch with 24 fast Ethernet ports and 2 gigabit Ethernet ports. So I will select this 1 gigabit 0/1 interface, right? As you can see, we now have a connection between the PC and the switch. Then to connect the switch to the router, I will again use a straight cable. I'll click on the connection straight through cable. I'll click on the switch. I'm going to select gigabit Ethernet 0/2. Then click on my router. I'm going to select gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0 interface, like this. Right, as you can see, the link between the switch and the router is in red. Then from the PC to the switch, the link is green. Can you see that, guys?
Yes, we can.
Right, so this means that the link between green means the link is up and red means the link is down, right? So a switch is a plug and play device. That's why this link is already up. But a router, we now need to activate or enable the interface, the gigabit 0/0/0 of router 1 of our ISR router for our link to be active, right? So our network is going to be, so if you want to put a text here, you go on place note, you click on this symbol, place note, right? Then on top, so these devices we're going to use the network, let's just say 192.168.10.0/24, like this. So don't worry, we're going to explain this. We're going to explain what we mean by this is a topic on its own, IP addressing. So we're going to explain this in greater detail, right? So the PC we are going to use, the PC is going to use the IP address 192.168.10.10, like this. Then on the router interface, we are going to put 10.1. So we're going to say 192.168.10.10 for the PC, then 192.168.10.1 for this router interface. Then the switch, we are going to give it .254, right? So let's assign IP address on our PC. This is how you assign an IP address on a packet tracer device. So you click on your PC, you go on config, so you go on desktop, then you click on IP configuration, right? Then you select static. We are saying 192.168.10.10. Then subnet mask 255.255.255.0. That's equivalent to /24, our network address. Then our default gateway is the exit interface to the outside network. So the devices in the same network, usually they don't use the default gateway because they already know each other because they are connected on the same network, right? So I will just put the default gateway. So in this case, the default gateway for this PC is the router interface 10.1, which is down currently, right? So we are saying if 10.10, if this PC wants to reach the internet, the networks beyond router 1, all of its traffic or all of its data will pass through 10.1, the router interface of this ISR router. That's the default gateway. So that's the IP address we are going to use. We use 192.168.10.1. Right? Then we save and then, right? Now let's assign IP address on the switch. But before we assign IP address on the switch, you click on the switch, then go to command line interface, right? Click enter. So this is the Cisco iOS Internet Network Operating System. So as you can see, we've got we are into this mode now. Can you see this mode? We've got a switch and a symbol like this. This is so as you navigate the Cisco iOS, you pass through modes, right? So this mode is called the user executive mode. You cannot do any configurations in this mode. So to start configuring your device, you type the command enable like this, then click enter. The mode changes. This is called the privileged executive mode. Again, you cannot do configurations in this mode. So you type this command configure terminal. Configure terminal. Then you are in this mode. This mode is called the global configuration mode. And each command you run in this mode affects the entire device, right? So we're going to we're not going to configure a lot of things here on this switch. We just want to assign IP address on this switch, right? So our IP address, we said it's so don't worry about this term which I'm going to introduce. We're going to talk about these concepts in greater detail in the sessions to follow. So when you assign an IP address to a switch, you assign it to interface VLAN 1 by default. Because all ports on the switch, they belong to VLAN 1 by default, which is a logical domain to say all the connected devices on that switch share the same network. So it's interface VLAN 1, then you assign an IP address, right? IP with the command IP address 192.168.10.254. Then you put your subnet mask, right? 255.255.255.0, then enter. To activate interface VLAN 1, you say no shutdown, then enter. Right? We now have this message which is saying interface VLAN 1 changed state to up. Right? You remember in the syllabus, when we were going through our syllabus, there were terms like configure and verify. So when you are verifying your configurations, it's something like this. Verification commands are performed in the mode called the privileged executive mode, right? The privileged executive. So to navigate back to the privileged executive mode, you just type exit, right? This is now the global configuration mode. So you type exit again, like this. You are now into the privileged executive mode. So you now type show. So we now want to see what is the IP address on our interface VLAN 1. So you can just say show IP interface brief. Show IP interface brief. Right, these are our interfaces. All these interfaces are down because they are not connected. Our fast Ethernet interfaces. So I will scroll down. I've connected interface VLAN 1. This one. This is the IP address which you have assigned, and the status is up, and the protocol is up. Layer 2 protocol is up. We are going to talk more about layers. What we mean by layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, layer 6, layer 7, layer 8. Right, so our interface is up. So this is how this is the verification part. Right? Then if you want to save your configurations, you can just say copy running config to startup configuration file. Both the configurations, the running configuration is like the information stored in RAM. We all know in computers that information in RAM is volatile. So the running configuration is volatile. So we are copying our configurations from this volatile memory to the startup configuration file, which is non-volatile. So when a device boots, or when a CISCO router or a switch boots, it checks the configurations in the startup configuration, and it boots with those configurations. Right? So the startup configuration is non-volatile. So copy running config, startup config, then you click enter. Then you are asked the destination file name. Is going to be the startup config. Then yes. So you acknowledge by clicking enter. Building configuration. Okay. Our configs have been saved. Right? So we are done with the PC and the switch. Now we want to activate the link between the router and the switch. As you can see, the link is in red. Now let's quickly configure our router. Just want to activate our link. So click on the router, go to the command line interface tab. Just type no to the command, to the configuration dialog. You just say no, then click enter. Right, again this mode is called the user executive mode. So you type enable to start configuring your device. Then you click on configure terminal to enter into the global configuration mode. Right? So our interface is, we want to assign IP address to this interface, which is interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0, enter. Then we say IP address 192.168.10.1. Then we put the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, enter. Then no shutdown. So the no shutdown command activates the link. It's telling the link to say be active, be up. Then you click enter, and you receive the message which is saying interface change state to up, line protocol on gigabit Ethernet 0/0, change state to up. And if you look at our packet tracer, our link now is now green between the switch and the router, right? So now to check if there is connectivity, how do we check if there is connectivity between let's say you want to check if the packet is reaching this router. We can use a ping. So a ping is used to test for end-to-end connectivity, right? So if you click on the PC, right? Click on the PC, then go on command prompt. You select command prompt, right? So you can say ping, want to ping the default gateway 192.168.10.1. As you can see, we are getting replies from router 1. So indeed, there is connectivity between PC1 and our router. So that was our packet tracer lab, guys. Do we have any questions? Any questions?
I need to ask something, man.
Yes, Talent. Please go ahead.
Okay. I had a call, like I do fiber, ne? So in the afternoon there was another client, ne? When he was running the ping, it was not it was even kicking out, like he couldn't run the speed test, ne? So I'm just taking from what you're doing, ne? To put the ping, isn't it shows? So when he was punched, when I'm just wanna try and understand what I saw there. When he was doing the ping, there was nothing showing there, but the internet box or the fiber box was up. So I just want to understand there. If the ping, if you enter the ping and you can, and it's not running, which means there is no network or there's no traffic flowing.
No, it means for example, in this case, if this PC was not getting replies from the router 1, it doesn't mean router 1 is off, right? But it means this PC has no idea of how to reach that router. There is no a defined path to reach that router.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions? Any other questions before we call it a day?
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes.
Pertaining to what you discussed earlier on the blueprint for network engineering. Yes, sir. As network engineers, what is our role with AI coding? Because today I was listening to a podcast about AI coding and learned that AI is replacing people's jobs. So I wanted to know if you were to be working as a network engineer or someone who has a CCNA certificate, what is our role as there's now a new trend, like what Mr. Kumire was saying on how he used ChatGPT to design his poster for today's lesson. He used an AI tool which helped him to implement what he wanted to create.
Okay, that's an interesting question. Tanaskwa. But what I would say is, you cannot run away from the fact that networks are moving from the traditional approach to automation. So it is recommended, or it is very wise to learn automation skills. This doesn't mean that you are going to be a core programmer. This is just a little bit of these programming concepts that are being introduced to networks. So it's ideal to learn these new concepts, like how to automate, how to become an automation engineer. So all those concepts are going to be covered in this CCNA course. So yeah, AI is a bit trick thing in terms of these our jobs. I don't know if Mr. F, you have something to add on Tanasko's question.
Most definitely.
An interesting question.
Thank you so much, Engineer Ivor, and that's a very good question from Tanaskwa there. Right, Tanaskwa, what I would like to say, and to everybody else, is that with networking, it's very important that you understand the trends and understand how the networking world is evolving. All right, like Engineer Ivor rightly pointed out there, there's things like network automation, and from my experience in the industry, I can tell you that a lot of engineers, not only in Zimbabwe but even here in the first world, they have not really embraced these new trends, and very few people are actually learning network automation. Somebody presented about that network automation stuff in the mentorship group, and CISCO actually changed their syllabus to include network automation, but people are just paying lip service to it. There's now software defined networks, right? SD1. This is how the technology is evolving. So as an engineer, you need to see the trends, and like Adrian said, you get that information from the mentorship groups, from joining classes, from sharing with others. This is why I tell people that it's not that easy for you to then say, I've got some material, let me do CCNA alone. You don't operate in a vacuum, but if you operate with others and you're sharing information, then you get to learn how things are done in the direction in which things are moving. So CISCO is actually continually changes their syllabus, to in line with the changing trends in the marketplace. So you are in very safe hands if you're on CISCO tracks, and with mentors like Ivor and myself, we'll be making you aware of the things that are important that you need to do, that you need to how you need to adapt to the changing environments. And the one thing is that the whole world is now running on networks. It's now become so digitalized. Even the COVID, crisis then created that need to rely more on networks. Right now, even in the UK, the online market, people buying online increased from about 4 billion to 11 billion. Look at that drastic change. Almost 200%. So less people are going to the shops to buy stuff. Today I just bought online a spare that one space shop, one car space shop wanted to sell me for 120. I got it online for £12. So I mean that's networks being evolved. So the need for engineers, guys, is actually increasing. The demand is just ridiculous. You know, there's something that I shared. You know, this one lady, you know, she just tweaked their LinkedIn profile as per the recommendations from the presentation that they did with Stuart. Rock my profile. You know, and guess what? She's saying that she's getting so many emails. But you know, we post those things, we say some of these things, but you know, very few people go on to actually play the video and implement what is being said. So what is important is that when you hear the recommendations, don't just listen, but act upon it. And if you act upon it, you definitely reap the rewards. Definitely, that I can promise you. The demand is just, you know, across the whole world for people who really know what they're doing is just ridiculous. It's a high demand turn up. So AI is a list of your worries. If anything, what you need to do is to leverage that and see how you can use it to go further faster. Thank you so much for that good question. So Engineer Ivor, I think you can wrap up our presentation. We've been around for a while, and please guys know that this is only part 1 for a 3-part series, free 3-part series. And we want it to be very interactive. I'm very happy with the questions that you guys are bringing forward. You know, we want it to be very interactive so that we all learn and, you know, we benefit from this. And it's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a cracking year, you know, in terms of those people who are not taking the time and opportunity to upgrade themselves to join these programs. They're going to be shocked for 6 months from now. The people who are coming on board, they're going to be at a different place altogether. Thank you.
So guys, thank you so much for coming through in our session today. I think that was all for today. I hope you are going to have an interesting journey with us as you enroll for this CCNA course. CCNA is waiting for you. We are waiting for you. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So guys, enrollment is in progress. Get on board. Inbox me. Let's talk about it. Let's enroll you guys, and you know, we give you material straight away. There's some guys who are already enrolled. There are a few guys already enrolled. It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be a cracker. And the icing on the cake is the free CV preparation, profile preparation, interviews preparation. That's a cracking one. So you're gonna enjoy that. Alright, you guys, take care, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.